Hello guys! So as you know, I'm a big Phoenix fan. However, I was never really a fan of the Phoenix RC40, which is identical in looks, oops, my bad, to the light I have in my hand here, okay? I was never a fan because it only had 4 emitters, and it was a very expensive light. Didn't throw very well, didn't flood very well. It was quite big and heavy, and it had a battery pack that you can't really change. It's a proprietary battery pack, and you can't really change out the battery pack. So all of that together made it a very unattractive option for me at the time. However, recently Phoenix updated the RC40 platform with 6 emitters, as you can see here. And I am not sure if the old version has the built-in USB charging port or not, but at least I know this version does, and that's very convenient. I find USB port extremely convenient nowadays that I have, that my cell phone run out of batteries all the time, and we're always on the go, and it's great for, with 6 cell, it's great for charging a lot of different devices. So I find that a big plus, okay? It has a very nice 4 LED here that you can see the battery indicator charge. I'm not sure if the old version has any of that, okay? But just the performance on the old model alone kind of just shut me off, and I never did a run or mod many of them. I did a few for customers as custom orders, but that was it, and the result wasn't all that impressive. This version though, this light though, is very impressive, okay? As a matter of fact, I have 2 versions here in front of me. The one on the left, the RC40vn, and on the right, RC40vn. T stands for throw and F for flood, okay? The throw version, okay? I just finished these today, and I got the numbers down, so I don't remember them, okay? The throw version does a max output of 8200 lumen and a max throw of 506 K lux, all right? That equates to about 1400 meters of throw, all right? So about 8,000 lumen and 500 K lux is pretty good. There's nothing on my store that puts out 8,000 lumen and 500 K lux at the same time, okay? Off the top of my head, the closest next up competitor will be the T6VN, which I recently released, and that puts out about 6,500 lumen, I think. Okay, so it's about 1,500 lumen less, and it puts out about 100 K lux less. Okay, so this one definitely is a step up in terms of performance. However, it's also a step up in terms of size. The other light has 4 18650 that is interchangeable. This light has a battery pack that is not interchangeable. Okay, it's a proprietary battery pack. And let's talk about the light on the right here. The light on the right here is a flood version of this same light. I forgot to mention, the throw version uses XML2 PDTs, okay? U3 bins. And the one on the right here uses XHP70 with a diffused dome. So that way I can eliminate the donut hole and it will have a perfect beam. And it's very, very bright. This, the RC40vn here in my hand puts out a max of 20,500 lumen and a max of 200K lux, all right? Comes out to be about 900 meters of throw. So you have roughly 500 meters more throw with the throw version, and you have roughly 12,000 more lumen with the flood version. So substantially more output here. 12,000 more lumen and 500 more meters of throw here. Okay, so how did it achieve all of that capabilities? Numbers. Aside from all new LEDs, on all LEDs mounted on copper, there's also the flood version uses 2 driver VNX2, all right? Each button here controls 3 of the LEDs. I will show you here. 3 of the, I don't know if it'll show on camera, but that's 3 LEDs on the right, okay, and then 3 LED on the left. 3 LED on the right, and then 3 LED on the left, okay? So you have two button here for 3 of the LEDs. And the reason I did that was because due to the such an absurd amount of lumen putting out of this light, sometimes just 3 LED is enough. 10,000 lumen is plenty, and you can control heat better. However, Using activating all 6 LEDs at the same time is not very tricky because the buttons are fairly large but really near each other. You can put, even with my really small thumb, I can place it over both of the buttons and then hold down the light, and then I will have low on all of them. And if I want it turbo, I can double click on both buttons and I'll have both on turbo. So simultaneously, I can operate both buttons together and operate all 6 LEDs together. But having 2 circuit kind of just double the reliability. It's kind of like having, although one body, is kind of like having two light separately, in each light with 3 LED, all right? And that's the advantage. You can have 10 lumen or 20,000 lumen, all right? The battery in this light is completely modded. It right now, as it stands, it has 6 Sony VTC5, all right? Sony VTC5 is just an exceptionally high drain cell, and that's the cell that's required to power the XHP70s here to 20,000 lumen. The battery pack will not work. The circuit protection will just trip, and it's not the cell are not great cells in terms of high drain. So similar capacity, but very much lower drain, and there's no way it can handle, the chemistry can handle the draw of these LEDs safely. Okay, there will be 2 battery pack as an option. You'll have the first choice would be a 5200 milliamp hour Sony VTC5 for very high output, or you can have a higher capacity but 10% lower output, which is the LG cells with 7,000 milliamp hours. So you get about 35% more capacity, but 10% lower runtime. And in my opinion, okay, if you are going to get an RC40vn, you should go for the VTC5. All right. Yes, it's putting out a lot of lumen, draining a lot of battery power. But if you're here, you might as well get the Sony VTC5 for max output, because that cell is really going to give you that edge. Okay, you lose about 2,000 lumen without going to the LGs. So, however, if you, and there's just no option cost. All lights will be shipped with Sony VTC5 for max output, and it's a no option cost for you to swap over to the LGs for the 7,000 milliamp hours. If you're opting for the RC40vn thrower version, however, I do recommend going for the LGs. 10% less is not too much, okay? But you do get a much greater runtime, and because it's a throw light, a lot of the lumen is in the hot spot, and 10%, it's not too much. And if you're after this version, then you're not really after max amount of output possible anyway, at least in my opinion. So maybe for the thrower version, I think it's better suited with the higher capacity cell, and that it'll make it a longer runtime. You have 35% more capacity, and this is more in line with a practical searchlight on max output. So therefore, you would want maximum runtime. But that's just my opinion. It will be up to you if you want max output or max runtime. Okay. So I'm not sure if I have mentioned the numbers, but just to recap. Okay, you have 8,000 here, 20,000 here. You have 500K lux here, and you have 200K lux here, all right? And they both perform very admirably for their size, okay? I don't have anything that makes 20,000 lumen, period, on my store. So obviously, this light is the brightest light I have. 200K lux is not bad either. 900 meters of throw is very good for 20,000 lumen, so that's very impressive in its own right. It's a very expensive light though. It's $700, okay? The thrower version is $600, and there is nothing that puts out 8,000 lumen and 500K lux. 1,400 meters of throw. So both of these lights are really in a category of their own. They're very, very big searchlight, and nothing really competes with them directly. The only other light that I have on my store that competes with the thrower version would be the X60vn from AceBeam. This model is an AceBeam model where before AceBeam really stepped up their game, so it's more or less a sub-beam model. Subbeam is the older branding for Acebeam, and the build quality is okay. It's not great. It has a built-in rechargeable system that I do not recommend using. And basically, if you're comparing this Phoenix to the X60vn, it's like a Cadillac to a Dodge Neon. Okay. Much difference in terms of build quality inside and outside and anodization and everything in comparison. Even performance, okay? The X60vn puts out about 6,000 lumen. This puts out 8,000 lumen, so it's a 200 lumen over it. And that one, the X60vn puts out about 400k lux, and this one over 500. So it's definitely a better performer all around. The biggest difference though is the thrower version here, the RC40vn is a $600 light, while the X60vn, while relatively close in performance, not too far behind, is a lot cheaper at $375. Okay, so that's one thing to consider. You do pay for what you get. Okay. So I've mentioned the battery, everything I can. All right, so which of the two would I pick, okay, and spend my money on, the $600 thrower or the $700 flutter? I'm a thrower guy, so I'm definitely biased again. And once in a while, I'll unless the floodlight is extremely exceptional, chances are I'm gonna go with the throw light. And for this light, I would really, my configuration would definitely be the throw version. 8,000 lumen is plenty. 500k lux is very impressive. Okay, and go with the LG 7,000 milliamp hour battery pack. Even the factory battery pack, the low drain original battery pack, is only 5,200. This one is 7,000 milliamp hour, and you have a really strong thrower that is basically a really well-rounded light with a nice charging system. Okay. There is nothing I don't like about this light. The reflector is flawless. It's made out of plastic, so it keeps the weight down, because even if you have a really heavy aluminum reflector, it doesn't really connect to the body. It doesn't heat sink at all. So what's the point of having a really heavy aluminum reflector? Before I got into light and I saw a plastic reflector, it was quite frowned upon, because I was actually still frowned upon in the flashlight community for having a plastic reflector. But really, for my modding experience, plastic works just as well. It holds up heat fine for the most part, and it keeps the weight down. And if the aluminum version doesn't heat sink, it doesn't connect to the body, it doesn't heat sink, doesn't really matter. So as long as you have a nice strong stainless strike bezel here, very good, a nice anodization with good knurling, that's all that really makes up a good light. Okay. What don't I like about this light? Definitely the size. It is a big light, especially for me with really, really small hands. This light is a really big light. It also has, one of the odd thing that I found out, that it has this 3 little small threading here, and you have an attachment point that attaches to here, but there's 3 points. If there's 3 point here, why not give us 3 of these attachment screw thing? And these holes, right, these threadings right here are very small. They're not hot shoe size. Well, you wouldn't want a hot shoe size threading here anyway, because it's not like you can mount it onto a tripod. But it would be nice somewhere on the body here with a hot shoe mount, so you can mount this big light somewhere and make it kind of a momentary spotlight. Not that I suggest that, because I don't allow my light to be run unattended. But if you do run it on a lower mode, then I suppose it is okay to have it on a tripod. Okay, but there's not even a mount, so that is not even an option for momentary runs. Okay, I don't know if it comes with I don't have the box with me here, it's upstairs, but I don't remember seeing a big lanyard, so you can big back straps for a lanyard to wear over your neck. Okay, and so that's the only thing that I don't like about it. I think it's a little bigger than it should be. Okay, due to the charging mechanism, you can see here that it's a really big tail cap, and the threading is actually only 1 centimeter, so most of it is all circuitry in here. So the charging system could have been put into the head because when I opened up the neck section here, there's quite a bit of room in there, and they certainly could have put the charging port here at the neck and cut down the size of the tail cap. So if you take a look here, and if you imagine this light without a tail cap would be, or with a little bit shorter tail cap, it would be a much shorter, and I wouldn't say more well balanced, but it will definitely be a more compact light, and that would be more preferable. The other thing I don't like is it comes with a proprietary battery pack, so you have to keep that in mind. You can't, if you want, you can buy a backup battery pack, a backup modded battery pack from me. I don't have pricing yet, but you can buy one. I'll order one, I'll build it for you, and you can use it for the light. The original battery pack is made in China, probably with Chinese cells, I'm not sure, but the cells that I'm putting in here are made in Japan. They're very high quality LGs or Sony, okay? So I wish it takes two carriers, just like a Phoenix TK75, and that would be a dream, but it doesn't. It takes this battery pack, and the battery pack needs to be modded, so you kind of stuck with one battery pack and not having, unless you have to buy another one. Another thing I forgot to mention on the thrower version, here, there's only one RC40vn circuit in the light, so both button does the exact same thing. You don't have to press. You always activate all 6 LEDs at once. You cannot activate them separately. The 2 buttons does the exact same thing. Okay, I think that is all I have to say. Let's take them outside and see how they do. Okay, they are the heaviest hitter on my lineup at my store right now, so it'll be pretty fun outside. All right. Actually, I'm just gonna cut the video here and then, restart with just beam shots only. All right.